This is the story of a trophy for the world, a journey, a dream. This is the story of a trophy for the world, a journey, a dream.
Hello, viewers out there. Today, we will be looking at the semi-final encounter between first semi-final. Actually, Argentina will be taking on Croatia. 8 p.m. Nigerian time is the time for the match, and it's sure going to be an interesting encounter. Welcome to Sports Orbit. Our coverage of the World Cup continue. My name is Afa Acho. Salifu Usman is right here with me. Salifu, welcome to today's episode of the program.
Thank you, the D-Day.
Yes, D-Day indeed, and of course,
Croatians and Argentinas.
yeah, and of course, joining us to preview and take a look at, all the action that will come up much later is Wale Ayeni, all the way from the UK. Wale, how are you doing? Finally, first semi-final is upon us tonight.
Of course, good afternoon to you, Alpha and Salifu. Thanks for having me today. It's going to be, a match-watching encounter between, these two top footballing countries when they get to battle in the semi-final. I'll wait and see more of the action of the World Cup right there in Qatar, Alpha.
All right. Well, straight away we'll begin, and of course, before we get into the discussion proper, I'll give you a sort of a background to these teams. Yeah, road to the final. Of course, previously these two teams have played each other twice in the World Cup before. That's talking about 1998 in France and 2018 in Russia. In terms of their head-to-head record, they have both won 2 games each after drawing their first ever match 0-0 back in 1994. Across the 5 fixtures, Croatia have managed to score more goals than Argentina with 7 strikes compared to 5. And notably, Lionel Messi has scored twice across his 3 matches against Croatia and comes into this semi-final with 4 goals in 5 games in Qatar. Last time, Argentina will be hoping to avoid a repeat of the result last time. Recall that last time they met at the group stage in Russia, Croatia took the day. That was a 3-0 in that one. And some interesting facts going into this match, Salifu. For Argentina have never lost a World Cup semi-final in history. That's a huge record. They have been victorious in all 4 previous visits at this stage, talking about in 1930, 1986, 1990, and of course in 2014. While for Croatia, they have a 50% record at this stage, lost to eventual winners France in 1998, but beat England 2-1 4 years ago in Russia. Another interesting fact about Croatia is they have never lost a penalty shootout at the World Cup, winning all 4 of their previous ties that went to penalties. They have seen off Denmark in 2018, and in this competition so far have seen off both Brazil, Japan, and Brazil in their previous encounters. Also, Argentina also have a near perfect record in penalty shootout too, having won 5 of their 6 matches that went to spot kick. So a lot of background history there, Sally, for looking at these 2 teams. So, I mean, this is properly setting the tone for this mouth-watering encounter that we are all looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, thank you for the background information. And if you're looking at the history, just like you read out, you definitely agree that the two sides are almost on equal level. They
Yeah.
match each other.
Mm.
In as much as in terms of football name, Argentina has a commanding name that people they tend to believe more in Argentina as a football nation.
Yeah.
Not much people talk about it, Croatia as a top nation in football. But if you're looking at the history of the Croatia, you agree that Croatians are not just a minor in the game of football.
Very
They
well.
have also, in as much, even though they have never won the World Cup, they have also made their name when it comes to round leather game.
Yeah.
And looking at the history, they have making the 5 times, and both of these have to do apiece, and then they're getting one draw. And even the yes, Argentina has never lost in a penalty, but most of those history are just old back story. The modern football is quite different from that era. Now we have a different. It's a complete set of new teams, a complete set of the of football teams,
Mm.
and the recent history. It also happened about 4 years ago between the two sides when the Croatia have the day.
Mm.
And if you at the same time, and if you look at this competition so far, how it has gone for two sides so far in this
Yeah.
competition, you are yes, Croatia, in as much as Croatia may not look to be a fantastic team or who a team who have come much go off, who are very dreaded or threatening team, but you see, Croatia has proved themselves as a a very disciplined, very disciplined team who can frustrate you and who can contain whatever you bring into the game. And I think we found football lovers will be going to be treated an interesting game tonight.
Yeah, you just said it enough, plenty of background information going into this encounter. And like you said, there isn't much to separate from, this side going into this encounter. And what will you be looking out for tonight, Wale?
Of course, it's still going to be a midfield battle between the two teams, no doubt about it. I feel the team who will actually get to dominate the middle of the park will be the one to actually get to win. And mind you, if Croatia will succeed, to drag the game into extra time and also into penalty shootouts, they might just get to win at the Argentines in the shootout, because I know that that is what the Croatian will want to do. They want to, sit down, absorb all the pressure, just stay in the game. And the first half, they want to wear down, the Argentines out to ensure that they don't get to score goal in the first half, and also see how they can be able to play compact football in the second half, and then see how the likes of look at Modric, how he can actually put some passes behind the Argentines midfielder, and to actually have a connection with Kovacic to ensure that they get. A needed, counter attack. No doubt about it. The likes of Perisic, Kramaric has been and a great influencer to the team. Talking about Croatia, but we all know, the skills of Lionel Messi. We know how he actually carry the team against, the against the Netherlands side. I feel it's going to be a cracker. Messi wants to also dominate and also ensure that he qualifies to the final. We know that this is just one title separating him and Cristiano Ronaldo, which is the World Cup. And I know that Messi will want to actually go all the way, to win this particular game, Alpha.
And another interesting thing is, incidentally, Messi's first international goal for Argentina was against in a friendly match against Croatia in 1997, and I think in that match was the first time also Luka Modric was making his debut. If I serve me right, for Croatia, but his first goal at international level was against Croatia. So I think for Messi and Croatia, looks like they has quite a bit of history going back with Croatia, and you know. A lot of some sort of history with Croatia going into this match.
Yeah, apart from that, if you look at these two teams, the two big factors, the two big players are Luka Modric and Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
And those two players are the departure. If I may use that word, almost at their departure.
Very well.
Departure
You're right.
laps. Luka Modric, we don't. Well, it happened, but we don't. At 7, we don't intend to see Luka Modric in the next World Cup. So Luka Modric is one of another fantastic players who have won everything that the round leather game has to offer. in terms of individuals award, he has also although he may not, in as much as you may not compare him to Lionel Messi when it comes to individual award, but in terms of winning a trophy with the club, Luka Modric can beat Messi to it because Luka Modric have won almost six Champions League titles. Six or five. Five Champions League titles, La Liga titles, several La Liga titles, and several everything. Same thing go to Messi also have medal collection come to club, and these two sides has also played against themselves at El Clasico between Madrid and Barcelona. So they know them each other very well, and two of them are almost want to end their career with the World Cup trophy.
Yeah.
The pressure is more on the Lionel Messi who want to cap it all and to be the one of the greatest players of all time, to cap it with the World Cup. So that addition, it's an additional motivation. It's also an added burden on Lionel Messi once he wanted to prove. But definitely this clash, as I was trying to look at it, I'm not trying to predict, but my mind trying to tailor towards Croatia, that Croatia may have their better day, but they are going to struggle against Argentina, no doubt about it. But if you look at how those two teams have fared so far in this competition, you definitely want to give a thumbs up to Croatia the way they have had so far. For instance, if you're looking at the semifinals match against the Brazil has everything going for that match. Brazil has an upper hand in terms of every angle, in every from any angle you look at it. Brazil has an edge over Croatia, but Croatia were able contain Brazil, holding them for a complete 90 minutes. At the extra time, Brazil take a lead, but within the 4 minutes later, Croatia replied back. That clearly show a clear determination and commitment to ensure that they want to get this job done. So I think for Croatia, I will thumbs up for Croatia, the team that played the final 4 years ago, and to be in the semi-final for this year is a proof of their football that yes, they are up there in the game of round leather game. But this game, it will be bound apart from the individual players they have on the pitch, it will boil down to tactical discipline and how a team who know how to master the tactical issue will have the day.
So also for this night, I mean, so many records going into this game. For Lionel Messi, if he plays tonight's match, he'll equal the most appearance in the World Cup, equaling German great Lothar Matthäus, who has played 25 times in the World Cup. So tonight's game for Lionel Messi will be the 25th time, equaling that record. What an achievement. Sometimes when you look at these players and you see the achievements they've made, sometimes a lot has happened that you forget that, they've made this kind of achievements, Wally. And for like Neymar, for instance, the goal he scored against Croatia, incidentally, even as most people would think Neymar hasn't done much for Brazil, but incidentally, that goal, he equaled Pele's record of 77 goals. And I was just actually finding that out myself, Wally.
Of course, records are meant to be broken at this point in time. When there are football games, you'll be rest assured that a record will be broken and also a record will be made. We know the capability of Messi. We know how he has been very, very consistent over 15 years now. He has been very, very consistent both for club and country, and we know how he gets to do magic. He creates things out of nothing. So I feel he's still going to get to score. He's at 4 goals at this point in time in the World Cup, at the ongoing World Cup. Mbappe is the number one highest goal scorer for now with 5 goals. Messi with 4, then Olivier Giroud with 4 also. So I feel he wants to score goals in this particular match to increase in tally and also get to fight for the golden boot and also for the golden ball award in the ongoing World Cup. I know Messi can actually do it, but let's see how he pounds out the likes of the Croatian defense who want to put a stop to him. But let's see the kind of magic he will bring on the field today. Record are meant to be broken. Neymar equaling Pele's record. I felt he was going to actually take that through to the World Cup, ensure they beat Croatia, but that couldn't actually work. Croatia actually had the last laugh at the end of the day. So I feel so many records. Looking at Olivier Giroud also, he has broken the record as being the French highest goal scorer when it comes to the national team. He has actually surpassed Thierry Henry record of 51 goals. Now he has 52 goals for the French national team. So I still feel he's still going to score more goals in the World Cup. So a whole lot of record has been broken in this World Cup, and more are still yet to be broken in the semi-final and the final match, Alpha.
All right, we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, Sport Obi continues. Don't go.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
All right, welcome back from that break. It's still Sports Orbit for Argentina. I think they'll be happy to have a returning Angel Di Maria who hasn't seen plenty of action in this World Cup due to injuries. But from the press conference the coach gave yesterday ahead of the match, he said that Maria is fit and ready to play a big part in this competition. I think that should be a big boost for the Argentines.
Well, I will see that as an additional goals because even the match they play with that team, I don't see clearly that they miss him. But it's good that he's back. Di Maria is also a key factor when you see him up front alongside Lionel Messi. And when you're trying to hold down the Messi, you give opportunity for Di Maria to also operate. And sometimes a big boost for the Argentines. But just like I chose to say before we went on the break, if you're looking at what is very key important is not about the history, it's not about record, and most times players are not even pathetic. Yes, in as much as it's an achievement, you want to celebrate it. Players are always more key about the ultimate goal. Messi can equal or set several records, but his main target is to win this World Cup. That is the biggest achievement. If he can win the World Cup, forget it. If you can cancel any other record he has set at the World Cup and just let him be a World Cup champion, he will be delighted to achieve that. And if you look at how so far, what is going to determine to this match is that how this team has fared so far in this competition. Defense is going to be very, very key. And for a Croatian team, if you look at Croatia on their journey to this level, Croatia have only considered 2 goals. They considered one against Canada, and then the last one, the one they considered against Brazil in the off-field. Apart from that, no, despite play against the like of Belgium who has attacking play against Brazil, they have always managed to concede 2 goals. Also far from the group stage to this level. And then if you on the other side, Brazil, Argentina, in as much as they have scored many goals getting to this level, they have also conceded 5 goals. So it clearly shows that the Argentina, in terms of the Argentina, in as much as they want to attack, they have to be mindful of their defense line. But for Croatia, who have a very tight defense, that is going to be a very key factor to determine how this match is going to go tonight. Yes, in terms of possession, in terms of domination, Argentina is going to dominate, but Croatia will not just let it go like that.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, like Charlie said, but I mean, in football, every match is different because we've seen in competition teams who kept clean sheets up to the latter stages and at a particular crucial match and considered 4 goals in one match. So these things happen in football. Sometimes you might keep a clean sheet, but when it matters most, sometimes something happens. Like they say in football, football is like biscuit. You just don't know where it's going to crack. And sometimes one silly mistake in football and everything crashes at once. So sometimes, like you said, and I agree with you, sometimes these records, yeah, they are there for us to remember, but sometimes on the match, on the day, on the field of play, just one small mistake and all of those records, everything goes down the drain.
Yeah, that's true. But one thing I see, working for the Croatian at this point in time is they're resilient. They'll be able to come back in
Yeah.
games. Looking at the Brazilian game, it was extra time when Neymar scored, and they were able to hold their own and actually, they actually came back from that particular game to draw that game 1-1 before going to the extra time. So I feel that resilience have been actually been working for the Croatian side, which is very good. We know that if you compare the both teams, Argentina and Croatia, at the ongoing campaign, you agree with me that when you come to the goalkeeping department, for what you have seen so far, Croatia has the upper hand in terms of the goalkeeping. Looking at the save that Croatia
Yeah,
keeper
very
has
well.
made, and so is better. Then looking at the defensive formation also, the Argentines, defense has been very very shaky. We saw them conceding goals against Saudi Arabia with that. No disrespect to Saudi Arabia, but conceding goal to such team and losing that particular match, it shows that their defense is not that solid. No doubt about it. They have the likes of Otamendi, Martinez that play, for Manchester United. But the Croatian has been very, 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 top notch when it comes to defense and also the midfield. Looking at the Argentine midfield, also the same thing. But what I'm just saying that what the Argentines have an edge over the, the Croatian is just the attacking setup, attacking nice setup. They have the likes of Martinez, they have Messi also, but Croatia also have not been doing badly. The likes of Perisic, Kamacic also have been delivering goals for Croatia. So it's going to be a cracker of a game. It's going to be it's going to go down to the wire. It's not you can't actually say this particular team will win at this
Very well.
at this point, but it's going to be difficult. But I'll
Difficult
actually
indeed.
put.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll actually put where my mouth is and my money is, which is on Croatia. I see Croatia, are going to the final. No doubt about it. The Argentinians withdrew everything they have, all the kitchen sink on the Croatia. But I see the Croatia, standing out at the end of the 90-minute alpha.
Right, and like we said earlier, that match comes up 8 p.m. Nigerian time. Referee for the match will be Italian referee Daniele Ossato. He actually took charge of the opening game of the tournament in that match, Ecuador versus Qatar, which ended 2-0 in favor of Ecuador. So quickly before we go to other World Cup news now, where FIFA has earned an unprecedented $7.5 billion in revenue through 4 years of commercial deals tied to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. The earnings which FIFA revealed to officials for more than 200 of its member nations are $1 billion more than what the organization pulled in from the previous World Cup cycle leading up to the 2018 event in Russia. So, Salifu, for FIFA, you could see why, in spite of all the criticisms against Qatar hosting and all of that, President Gianni Infantino stood his ground, backed Qatar solidly, and now you can see how much FIFA are raking it. Like a friend of mine, we're talking about this yesterday, a fellow colleague, and he said he's not surprised. Wherever an organization where this kind of money goes in, you always hear stories of corruption. With this kind of money coming, why won't you be tempted to help yourself with swappy funds? Huge amount, unprecedented amount coming in for FIFA.
You can only get that in football.
Yeah.
Huge amount indeed. And yes, I agree with you and completely that we now see why, despite all the anti-Qatars, everything, all the negative story, human rights factors, everything, all the promoters, FIFA, you see that no, the World Cup must go on with Qatar.
Exactly.
And everybody were accusing Sepp Blatter of making mistakes, wrongly awarding the World Cup in Qatar. But Sepp Blatter have existed in FIFA for almost 8 years now.
Yeah.
Fatino has been in charge. But Fatino still there, seeing that what is on ground, what is smelling out, what is booming out. They know Qatar must go ahead.
Yeah.
And you can see that Fatino has tried all his life to defend Qatar by all means. Whatever anything you throw at Qatar, Fatino is ready to throw it back.
Yeah.
Not only his Fatino, as he was reading out the stories for the member nations, not only Fatino, all the member nations, including yours, Israeli, Nigeria, I'll be smiling now. Oh, this kind of, although we didn't play at the World Cup, but definitely there's a return of it that will definitely come to the
definitely all federations.
all federation. Yeah. So for them, it's a good investment and it's worthy doing business with Qatar. So,
I mean, well, interestingly, a winner of this year's World Cup will, as prize money, will go home with approximately 44 million US dollars. Some good money there for the winner.
I can imagine, getting to make 7.5 billion naira, and the winners is going home with 44 million, dollars. It shows that the disparity is just so wide at this point in time. But looking at football at this point is a massive, massive economic boom, for FIFA and also for Qatar. When I was in Qatar, I was so surprised that Qatar could actually make, teams out of a desert. If you go to Qatar, you know that it's a completely a desert. It's like a desert. So, and they were able to build up structures for the World Cup, and also the place is just so massive. I feel for a country less than 2 million people, and they were able to pull off and host the World Cup. I see no reason why we cannot actually host the World Cup. Why Nigeria cannot host the World Cup? Looking at the revenue that FIFA alone has gotten from the World Cup, 7.5 billion, dollars. Imagine how much the Qatar government will make from the World Cup. Exactly. Looking at all the fans that actually came from around the whole world to actually get to see the games, how much commercial deal they have actually made. So I feel these are the kind of competition that we should be looking forward to host. But it's just so sad that we have not been able to to host the Nations Cup in over 20 years now, and we are not even looking forward to get to be to hold for the World Cup. So I feel we need to actually do a lot of homework back there in Nigeria, and also looking at quickly, let me just make a comment about Maria, who will be playing for Argentina this season. Has actually made 10 appearances for Juventus. He has actually scored 1 goal and made 4 assists. I feel his experience will be brought to bear in this game against Croatia. No doubt about him. He and Messi, they are the oldest player in the Argentine squad, and they have a whole wealth of experience right from the time that they played Nigeria at the under-20 in 2005 up to the Olympic level, and now they are still together at the World Cup. So I feel that is actually working for the team with his lot of experience. Then going back to the topic of discourse, talking about the record of 7.5 billion. That's almost a billion ahead of what they actually made at the last World Cup 2018 right there in Russia, which was 6.5. So I feel the next World Cup will be hosted in the US. They might be recording a whole lot
from, so you can imagine.
Yeah. So a whole lot of money, going in and out from FIFA. No wonder our ex NFF president is actually fighting to remain in FIFA. But that's another discuss for another day. What a record breaking. Qatar has actually broke a whole of record talking about the World Cup. I catch him very, very impressive. Qatar has been one of the best country who has actually hosted the World Cup in history. Alpha.
All right, so like we said, Argentina, Croatia comes up later tonight, 8 p.m. So, Wale, for you, you said you have a feeling Croatia might go through.
Yes, if Croatia can actually hold their own, get to hold the game to extra time, I feel Croatia stand a chance, to get to win this game. But if the Argentines can win the Croatians before 90 minutes, then they can actually run away with it. But overall, I still tip the Croatians to win ahead of Argentina.
Shalifu, what do you think this is going tonight?
Well, before I tell you where the match will go, I think me and you should begin to think the best place to work is FIFA. I think with this kind of working FIFA,
exactly.
So I think we need to find our way to break into FIFA.
We'll look into that.
So You can't be sitting here just talking and at the end of the day nothing for you. This kind of money. We need to find level to get into people competition. But talking of the match, I think not even just before today, since the period of match, since the Britain side got qualified, my mind has always sticking towards Croatia. Croatia in the final. I'll not be surprised if I see Croatia in the final. It's not going to be easy, but something in me has always telling me that Croatia will get to the final ahead of Croatia. Because it's like I see Messi with you.
Well, we'll see about that tonight. Comes up, like I said, 8 p.m. Wally, thank you for joining us. Hopefully tomorrow, by tomorrow this time, we should have our first finalist already.
Finalist. Of course. Thank you, Alpha, for having me. Good afternoon to Salifu and to everyone in the studio. Bye-bye for now.
All right, Salifu, thank you for being on today's edition of the program.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
All right, until we come your way tomorrow again, do stay safe out there. My name is Alpha Cho, and it's bye-bye for now.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.